Where is Claude?
It's time to go!
That always gets me. Every time. It's funny, man.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Claude and the Banstas on this lovely Thursday morning. Hope everybody's well. I've got a great guest with us today. We're going to do the Arsenal West Ham preview and get a good insight into what's going on at the Hammers at the moment. Dom from West Ham, our West Ham representative, will be giving us the rundown and hopefully letting us know, because let's introduce you first, Dom. How you doing, mate? Anyway,
yeah, I'm all right. It's a new season is upon us. We're all glad it's back to some extent. It's just a shame the stadiums are still empty, but getting to the point now, I think we will be back sooner or later. Given the percentage thing. But yeah, I'm all good. I'm looking forward to chatting about the game because there's a lot to get off my chest. There's been lots of news this week regarding a possible takeover, which we'll go into. So yeah, there's lots to talk about. It's interesting times, I guess, to be a West Ham fan if the alleged news is true, I guess.
Okay, well, I've not heard about that, so it'd be great to get that insight from you, Dom. Just before we do, we've also got the legend himself, Claudio. How you doing, Claude?
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. It's a bit noisy in here. I had to get out because they were doing stuff in my room, so I had to get out to the cafe. But I hope you can hear me all right.
Yeah.
All this noise. Welcome, Don. I know things are not great for you at the moment, but I'm sure things will get better as the season goes on. And looking forward to the game on Saturday night.
I'm not. I'm sure you are, though. Even if we play well, we'll still always lose to Arsenal.
Not necessarily. We'll come to that in a minute, Dom. We'll come to that in a minute. First of all, let's get an insight. Let's start off. Obviously, there's a lot of upheaval at the beginning of the season. Obviously, West Ham sending one of their great prospects. What was his name again? Sorry, Dom.
Grady Dean Garner.
That's correct, yeah. And obviously, your captain come out publicly on Twitter, Mark Noble, saying how disgusted he was and what's going on with the board. You had Jack Wilshere that's backing him, and then being told basically that he might not be playing for the club anymore and going to get his papers to be sacked. Obviously, I've been saying for quite a while, Dom, on these streams that obviously half of my family are West Ham and I've got like a load of West Ham friends, but it's just, for me, it's just so disheartening to see West Ham fans at the moment. I mean, obviously you said earlier on just a minute ago, which we're going to about a possible new takeover, but before any of that news, I mean, West Ham fans, there was just no ambition there at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Fans were just not even pissed off with it. They're bored of the situation there. Do you know what I mean? It's like they can't even bother to get up and go to the games at the moment, even if they could.
Well, we can't go to the games. But
yeah.
I get what you're saying. Like it's, I guess that's the legacy that David Gold, David Sullivan, and Karen Brady have left at the club. The renewal numbers this season have been the lowest it's ever been, allegedly. So low that they've actually gone and extended the renewal deadline for season tickets twice. And, people don't want to go back there, mate. And rightly so. Not just to do, I think obviously when you throw in the pandemic situation, it's, that's a completely different. A big contribution to it as well, but I just think the fact that everything that's gone on this year is just the tip of the iceberg. We've signed no players. Our squad generally overall is poor. We scraped survival last year. Supporters, I think at the same time, are also frustrated they can't go to games. And there's people on them gates every home game with the banners And I think if we do want them to get out of the club, and I think by all means it helps. But yeah, things aren't great, and it never will be until they're out of the club. I've said this from the summer we moved. They had to sell up because I noticed things weren't great when we moved. We were, Sullivan come out and pledged we were going to spend big on a striker, which ended up being a poor loan for a Simone Zaza, who was the worst striker I've ever seen play for West Ham. The window that they've run the club on fumes for far too long, and it's been a long time coming. And I think we're at that stage now where it's their end game.
No, I totally agree. Anything, Claude? Do you want to?
Yeah. It don't seem well. I mean, I can understand his frustrations, and when he's put his boy in charge of the women's team, I mean, with no real experience as well.
Did you see the result last week?
I know, but
yeah,
I know, but
it's what happens when you've got Sullivan running the club.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He ain't got a clue. You can see he's clueless on the game as well, and it's really poor. It's poor judgment, and it's. I don't know. It just even you've got Karen Brady. Not being funny, she's even an Arsenal fan, isn't she? Karen Brady.
I don't even know what she is, mate. I don't understand her role.
People like this on the ball, it's not healthy at all. And as you say, you sold a player that has got a great future at the football club, had a great future, and to let him go like that, just like that. And I think he's very lucky that there's no fans back, because I think there would have been a massive protest. Because you lot know how to protest, don't you? I mean, there's none of this on social media. You get out and do it properly. You know what I mean? So.
Well, the thing is, Claude, it needs to happen, because the trouble is with Golden Sullivan that they're so out of touch with the reality of the real world. Now, when those protests 2 years ago happened at the Burnley match, what they tend to do is they feed their little info to their little ITKs and their little mouthpieces, and it gets published, and they're allegedly surprised by why everyone is so angry. If you're so surprised at that when you've been running the club on fumes for that long, you're not listening. You're not listening, and the trouble is now, since we've moved to that stadium back at Upton Park, you could, and Nicky says this quite a lot as well. Back at Upton Park, when they turned up, they'd have to park in the stadium car park where everyone else parks, walk through a crowd of people to get into the director's box. Imagine that now. They wouldn't even be able to make it through the crowd, because at the London Stadium, they drive through their little gated area surrounded by security, and they don't have to see anyone. They watch the game, they come out, they meet all their corporate friends and business partners, and they go back to their mansions. They don't leave the house for a week. And they don't see what's going on. They don't have any sort of understanding, and they're so out of touch with the fan base. I mean, they're putting they're putting a poster of Lampard around the stadium, and Lampard's in West Ham culture is hated by our supporters. Fantastic player, a footballing legend, but not for West Ham. For West Ham, and that just proves. Would you put, say, Adebayor around the Emirates or Gallas around the stadium? Would Tottenham put Sol Campbell around their stadium? You wouldn't, would you? Yeah. It just goes to show how out of touch they are, how much they're not listening, and just the lack of care. I mean, I bumped it, and when I speak of the how disillusioned they are from the real world. We went to Wigan 2 years ago. We were walking out the stadium towards the car, and we saw Golden Sullivan walking back to their car. Now Wigan, there's no gate at Wigan, there's no security at Wigan, and they had nowhere to go, and we confronted them and told them. And again, this is nearly 3 years ago now. It's the same fucking story. It's the same story about underinvestment, no signings, the squad struggling in a relegation fight yet again, and they're just sitting back and watching it fucking fall apart, doing nothing. We tore into them. We said, "Why aren't you doing this? What is What is stopping you from, getting the club out of this mess? Oh, we can't sign. We don't know where to get a midfielder from. Well, why can other clubs do it and we can't? And my mate gave an example to Sullivan, John Joe Shelby, who since then has fucking turned up in every fucking game he's played for us, for Newcastle. And Sullivan says he's useless and walks away. And then 2 days later, you've got his mate Jim White on TalkSport saying, 50 people attacked David Sullivan. He's very, very traumatised. And again, that's another thing. They just lie to their mates in the press. It just makes out like, they just hate that. They're just so like out of touch with the supporters. It's insulting. They think we're stupid. Scum. They're just scum.
Yeah, but he's the biggest troublemaker, Jim White. He's caused trouble.
Jim, this is the trouble. There's so many washed up dinosaur pundits which have no place on big TV channels anymore. You had Souness trying to have a pop about Noble's tweet the other day. Oh, that was the reason we got beat by Newcastle. No. The reason we got beat by Newcastle is our players aren't good enough and we ain't signed anyone. And they have. Because guess who scored for them? 2 new players.
Yeah.
It's just honestly, these people are clutching at straws. They're completely out of touch with the real world.
It's sad because I remember the old days at Upton Park. I mean, the atmosphere, especially on a midweek night, what a great atmosphere used to be on a midweek, especially on a midweek night. The real atmosphere. But it's gone now, isn't it? That atmosphere's gone. I mean, it's gone. I mean, there isn't that atmosphere anymore, and it moving to the London Stadium. Biggest mistake I think the club has ever made. I think. You
have similar thoughts about leaving Highbury for the Emirates, don't you?
Oh, exactly. Because of when we moved to a bigger ground, the expectation went higher. And the expectations are not being met. So that's why we're getting a lot of people who wish they were still back at Highbury.
One thing I will say though, Claude, the Emirates Stadium is a perfect stadium for football, and ours isn't. That's the only difference. But I do see where you're coming from. I think over the years, Arsenal have regressed.
In a way, if you think the way it's been built, it's not really, because I think if you look at the way Spurs have built their stadium, they built it properly, like the one tier stand behind the goal. We didn't think of that. We were more worried about doing the corporate bit all around the ground. So yeah, I'm not so sure about the atmosphere-wise is any great for football.
You can't. It's hard in these big stadiums because there's you get them more in the tight-knit old school ones, don't you? Because they're smaller and there's more. The atmosphere can get around quicker, can't it?
Yeah.
But, I guess in a way, both clubs have been in that sort of same boat. But the thing is, the difference is, I think you're still well off at the moment. I think Arsenal are in a little. I think it's positive times for Arsenal in my eyes. FA Cup,
yes,
Community Shield.
Very early days to start saying that whether
early days, but we
won the FA Cup the year we beat Chelsea and Man City, and the next season Wenger was gone, wasn't he? So
yes, that's
so it's too early to say, but because all the other squads around us have actually improved as well, their squads as well. Remember that, so they'll be even better. They'll even be better. There's still teams, even Everton. I mean, look, I was impressed with Everton on Sunday. They look like now he's got his players in. He might build something good there as well. So all these teams around us.
I think you'll do better than Spurs this year, though.
With getting Gareth Bale back, I suppose that could give them a big lift as well.
That's the Mourinho effect, ain't it?
I'm looking at. Tell me one player I'm thinking about. One player I'm looking at West Ham. When I first saw him, I thought it looked impressive, and now they look like they're going to offload him. Is this Sonny Anderson? What is your opinion on him as a player?
Felipe Anderson.
Felipe.
I think he's a complete waste of space, and I think he's a complete mercenary.
Can you hear me, boys?
Yeah, I can hear you, Claude. I can hear you.
Sorry, Philippe. Sorry, did I say Sonny Anderson? Yeah, Philippe Anderson. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up.
That's all right.
Philippe Anderson.
I think he's a complete waste of space and a massive mercenary. Just a complete, if we were going to offload anyone, it should have been him and not Dean Garner. But he says it all when no one wants to buy him, do they? Or the thing is, Sullivan knows we're going to lose money on him because he's going to go for less than what we bought him for. We bought him for 36, going on to 45 million, I think. And I think the best we're going to get for him now is about 25 to 30. He was fantastic for about half a season when he first joined. And from the start of 2019, he scored one cup goal, 1 goal in the league, got about 2 assists. And then since then, since the start of last season, he scored 2 goals again and a few assists there and then. Can't take a man on, lazy, doesn't track back, bottles out of challenges, mercenary. Heart's not in it, and he's on a fuckload of money. He's shit. He's shit, basically. And
you've got the Yarmolenko as well. He's not a bad little player when he's performing, isn't he? But he drifts in and out of games, doesn't he?
Yeah, the thing with Yarmolenko is he's better off bench, Claude. I mean, during after the lockdown and when the restart, he came off and got a huge winner against Chelsea, got the equaliser against Villa off the bench. I don't know, he might have started that game. I'm not too sure. But the thing with Yarmolenko is, I mean, we've been in the stands and we've seen him at times, and sometimes he can go around looking like headless chicken. Sometimes he can play brilliantly, but when he plays brilliantly, it's mostly off the bench, and he's got a lot of injury problems as well, which don't help. So he's the perfect fit for us. But no, he's all right. He's a good squad player to have, but it's just I don't think he's a starter. I think Bowen's the best option for that.
Also, another one that you're talking about injury problems is Jack Wilshere. What's happening with him?
Well, you know as much as me about him, don't you? Finished. He's finished, isn't he? He's finished. He's another one. Listen, I was so many people convinced me, we got to sign him. And I said all along, I don't want him. I don't want him. What's he done? What has he done? Like in the last decade, even. I think, that people still mention that game he had against Barcelona for you lot in the Champions League when you won the first leg. It was nearly 10 years ago. You might as well get Pele and Maradona out of retirement because they were world-class players like in the 80s and 70s. It's like, it's a shame for Wilshere because the talent was no doubt there, but it's the injuries, and it happens to the best of players. And unfortunately for us, we've got nothing out of him. And when we signed him, I was saying, look, this isn't a good idea. We shouldn't be signing him. But what did David Gold and David Sullivan do? They don't learn from their mistakes, and they offer him $100,000 a week. And I don't think he started a game for us for 2 years in the league. I think he started a cup game last year and he scored, which is his only goal for us against Newport County. And since then, he's, the last time I saw him, he was jumping out of a fucking washing machine, scaring Declan Rice. And that's all we've seen of him. Again, a complete waste of a career for him, which is a shame, but a waste of a signing for us and a waste of money. Another one. I'd happily see him go out the door now.
Was he in the squad in your first game of the season? Was he actually in the squad or?
I don't think he was. I don't think he was on the bench. I think he played in a friendly against Bournemouth the week before, or was it the? No, it could have been the week before that against Brentford. And I didn't watch the game, but I had someone telling me him and Noble together, and Wilshere especially, just looked poor, unfit, uninterested, disheartened. Just not good enough, basically. I think what he's got to do is, I think he's just got to bite the bullet. I think the club's got to bite the bullet, release him from his contract, pay him off, because it's just, it's cost us far too much money. And I think the best place for Jack Wilshere will be in America. there's talk of him going into Miami, which is believably the team that Beckham's taken over. So, you got a bit of a connection there straight away. And, he could win stuff in America if, whatever the fuck they go for. But, again, it'll be good for him personally. A lot of money, beautiful weather, beautiful city. He's living the dream out there. So good luck to him. But, there's no place for him at West Ham anymore. Never was. Never was for me. Never was. Should never have signed him.
It's just a matter of him being fit. If he could get a run of games without no injury, I don't know. He still could be something useful anyway. But yeah, you are right. Yeah. How do you think you'll line up on against Arsenal on Saturday night? How do you think you'll line up? What sort of lineup do you think you'll put out? Do you think you'll change it a bit from the? I think David Moyes is getting a lot of stick. I don't think everyone's calling him out to get first to go, but it's not really down to him, is it, Dom?
I'm not a fan of David Moyes. I hated it when he was first here. I hated it when he came back. But I feel sorry for him, Claude. I mean, a lot of people were tearing into him on Saturday night during the game against Newcastle, and I said, look, I don't like the guy, but I can't criticise him because he's got nothing. He's got nothing at his disposal. People saying, oh, but this is the side he managed last season. We stayed up comfortably. Well, we stayed up with 2 games to go. That's not comfortable. Other clubs have also strengthened. So we can't go into a season with the same squad because it's going to catch up with you. And unfortunately for Moyes, there's not a lot he can do. But the ironic thing is, we played Charlton in the League Cup on Tuesday night, and the squad we had out that night was stronger than the team we fucking fielded on Saturday.
Yeah.
On paper, Haller started. Haller got 2 goals. Even Anderson scored, which was a shock to the world. But I think you got to take that as a positive because it's a confidence game, isn't it? I think Haller and Anderson are seen as confidence players. So they get a couple of goals, they play okay, and it's a sort of confidence. But the thing is with Moyes, he'll probably just start with the same team against Newcastle, unfortunately. Now, Antonio came in as a striker after the restart through complete default. There was summing up with Haller, which, he weren't in the squad for the first 3 games. We only had Antonio to play. And then Antonio goes on a great goal scoring spree, ends up with 8 goals, ends up with the top scorer after the restart. And, you can't drop him then, can you? You can't just turn around and drop him. And plus, he was, Haller wasn't in the best of form. So it's a tough one for Moyes, but I think the most logical thing to do would be to play them together. Go 4-4-2, Bowen on one side, maybe Yarmolenko or Anderson on the other side. If if they've got any confidence from the win on Tuesday, play them.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the thing is, we're away to Arsenal, who are a big club. So I think Moyes will park the bus.
Yeah, no, Evans. Good morning, Blind the Blue and Gunner, a very good friend who's building up his channel. Give him a follow, everyone, on the Blind Gooner. He says, "Good morning, lads. Hope you're well. There should be a comfortable win for Arsenal." Yes, but I remember we were talking about it before the show with Dom a few years back, where I remember the West Ham boys not being very confident before the game at the Emirates. It was the first game of the season, and then they ended up beating us 2-0. Was it 2-0? Dom, you said 2-0?
It's 2-0.
Yeah, so, when it comes to West Ham Arsenal, these games can throw up a shock now and again. So it's not, we will see, because as you say, if he plays certain players on set, they could cause us a lot of problems. He's a sort of player, Yarmolenko, if he's on his day, could cause any team problems, couldn't he? And so could Philippe Anderson. So it's
Yarmolenko's. There was something that came out the other day that there was an anniversary. We beat Everton 3-1, and Yarmolenko got 2, and he was unplayable that day. So he can, but again, as usual, it is does seem with West Ham players. It's a matter of staying fit. I think when you compare the game 5 years ago on the opening day, Claude, when we beat you, I think the circumstances are very different now. Because I'll be honest with you, I mean, it came as a nice surprise to me going to Arsenal to win. But in hindsight, now when you look back on it, your only signing that summer was Petr Cech. You didn't strengthen the outfield. We bought a load of players. We had Payet. We had Zarate come back from loan. We had loads of great new signings, and I think we've just been knocked out of the Europa League by a team called Astra the first year, and but we played the kids. So I just thought. So I had the feeling that we were like preparing more for the Arsenal game, and I think Slaven Bilic was a fantastic manager that season, attacking football, as compared to David Moyes, who is more conservative approach. So in hindsight, I just think the situation now is very different, and the games have already been played now. This is the second game, not the first game, and you come off the back with a very good win last week, and I watched that game actually, and I thought you looked very good. I know it's only Fulham, but I think Fulham would have learnt from the last time they were in the Premier League. I think Scott Parker's made them a harder team to beat. And, I thought you scored against the run of play early on because they had a couple of chances, but then you took control of the game. I thought that Gabriel looked fantastic. I thought Willian was excellent, and Aubameyang was just world class. So I thought you looked very good that game. I think you'll follow up again with a win on Saturday. West Ham need Unai Emery. Yeah, I'll take Unai Emery. Why not?
We've got a great comment here, Dom.
Hold on a minute. I remember the Astra game with your rank, Dom.
No, that was a year after. Funnily enough,
wasn't it?
The season we beat you, we played them at Upton Park, and we were 2-0 up, and it finished 2-2. And it was very disappointing because we wanted to get out the way because we got into the Europa League through fair play that year, and then we played like a reserve team in the second leg, and no surprise we got beat, and no one really cared, I don't think, because we got in completely by default, and I just don't think anyone was asked about it. I was a bit upset, but I weren't overly. Compared to the next year later. But the next year, we got them again. And I thought, right, it's the same mob again. We're going to have to learn from last year. And we put in such a toothless performance, and they beat us again. And that's what triggered me, really. So, yeah, it was the second time, really, because when something happens again and you don't learn from it, it really fucking pisses me off. And that's just in life. That's just in general. Because I hate it when people don't learn, myself included on some occasions.
No, I was on about your rant against Astra.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Claude. That's what I'm saying.
Wasn't that a season before last, wasn't it?
No, that's just 4 years ago now, mate. Long
That long ago.
It was a changed person since then.
It was. I'm sure it was outside Upton. I'm sure it was outside the London Stadium.
Yeah, it was. They beat us 1-0. On the night, 2-1 on aggregate, a 0-0 draw with the centres through. All we had to do was just keep clean sheet or score a couple of goals, and we couldn't even fucking do that. So that's why I lost my rag.
Jesus, I can't believe it's that long.
We've got a great comment here from someone, but just before I do, I just want to say hello to Sophie, Air Dry Treatment, in the comments. She's at work. Hope you have a great day. Everyone, go and give her channel a follow. Fantastic channel. Adlad said, Dom, West Ham need Unai Emery.
Yeah, why not? I just saw that comment and I said, why not? Why not?
Honestly, mate, you do not want him, I tell you. But funny enough, you, obviously over the last, I think, what is it? The last 1, 2, 3. Well, going back to 2015. Sorry, what am I saying? The last time that we lost, surprise, was under Unai Emery against you. So, I mean, he was
us.
Yeah, against you.
Us. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, so that was surprisingly under Unai Emery. I mean, that's shock factor there. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we were
And then,
very good that game. I knew we'd beat you that game.
well, you had a great game that game.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
but don't let the CV fool you, Dom, because a lot of Arsenal fans, they go on about these CVs, and you know what I mean. They've got these managers have won these trophies, and they think that these managers are fantastic. Honestly, he's just as bad as David Moyes in my eyes. To be honest,
He's about our level, then, isn't he? I think he's done. I think at Seville he was very good.
Yeah.
I think his downfall is probably PSG. I think that was a step too far. That defeat against Barcelona, when Barcelona produced a miraculous comeback, I think fucked him. I think that really fucked him. That was his downfall, really. But before at Seville, I thought he did a wonderful job. When you appointed him, it surprised me. I thought he could have done a bit better. They weren't the worst in the world.
What about Harry Redknapp?
Fantastic manager. Yeah, you want to go back?
No, he's another one. He's finished, washed up.
Yeah.
Like George Graham. Wenger.
Just want to. Do you know what? Someone that I think would be good for it is someone like Warnock. I think that's what sort of character they need.
Yeah, not at the moment. He's just tested positive for coronavirus.
Has he?
This morning he has, yeah. So we won't be managing anyone for the next few weeks.
To be honest, Tom, you've got a manager out there that ain't, as far as I know, ain't gone to anyone yet. Eddie Howe, would you take him?
Yes, I would. The trouble is he'll go to the first club that sacked their manager. He's waiting in the wings for a Premier League job to come up. I've got a feeling he's going to go to Palace. I think they'll let Hodgson go sooner or later. I think they had a terrible run after the restart. I know they won their first game, but if they have another awful run like that, I can see them letting him go. But Eddie Howe, I mean, I've always wanted Eddie Howe. I think he's ready to take that next step from Bournemouth. It ended bad for him, but I just think you can't just discount that relegation for what he did at the club. He saved them from liquidation. All of a sudden, he got them to the Premier League. He's definitely an option for West Ham if it comes to it. No brainer. I'd love to see Eddie. I think he's got so much to offer.
Actually, I want to ask Dom this one. This is Felix has brought this up a bit. Do you think Declan Rice will stay at the club, or do you think he's going to go in the next couple of weeks?
It looks like he's staying. I think Chelsea have given it up now, so it looks like he'll stay. I can't see any other club coming in for him. I think Chelsea's the only place he'll go to, because Chelsea are his boyhood club, I'd say. I think he started off there in their academy, and then he came to us when he was 14. But Chelsea suits him. I think he lives near there. His best friend Mason Mount plays for them. But I don't think he's good. Listen, it could change. It could. You know what? This is the sort of transfer saga that will get dragged out throughout the whole, transfer window. Is he going? Is he not? Is he staying? Is he going? And then, they could launch a final big bid on deadline day, which we can't turn down. And they'll go. So it could be the case. I don't think it won't. Obviously, it won't be conclusive until the window finally shuts. But there's every chance he could leave. But
what about Bilic? Bilic, if he was available, would you take him back? Slaven Bilic.
Not under Golden Sullivan.
No.
I would love Slaven Bilic back. He was my favourite manager. I've seen a few managers come and go, but Slaven Bilic has always been my favourite manager, and I loved it when he was at the club. I remember this summer we let Allardyce go. He was definitely my first choice. I was calling for him for years, and he's just got that. I mean, I remember when he was Croatia manager, and it was that year when Croatia beat England to stop England qualifying for Euro 2008. And there was an interview with him pre-match, and he was very calm, very collected, extremely, confident. And I thought, and I found out, he was a ex-West Ham player, and I think it was great. It was a good match for us. Just unfortunately, as it always is, didn't work out under Gold and Sullivan in the end, unfortunately.
Okay. Just before I bring this up, we've got a question here. I don't know what this means. From Jazza Dom, and he says, "I have a question for Dom. What is that, Shaki? He knows what I mean."
Right. So basically, what it is.
Did I say that right, by the way? Shaki,
yes,
was that right?
Did. Yes, you did.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, mate.
So basically, what it is, me and my mates, we love watching EastEnders, and there used to be there was a character on there called Shaquille, and he had a massive man bun. It was like an incredible like style man bun, and what it is, we was out one day, we see a guy who looked like he had the exact same hairstyle, and whenever we see it, we're like pointing it out. It's like, look, Shaquille off EastEnders, like with the hair up. It's just a little joke, a little personal joke of ours. But no, he's a good little character, Shaquille. He got killed off a couple of years ago. Strong knife crime story.
Right.
But yeah, that's where it comes from, really. If he wants to know that. Personal joke between me and my mates.
We've got Diesel in the house. How you doing, Diesel? Hope you're well. We'll pick up the boys. Great to see Dom on again. As we said on Twitter, Dom, this board are very lucky that fans aren't allowed in the stadium.
He's right. Yeah, good to see Diesel there. Yeah, they are, because I think had that been a full house on Saturday night, there would have been repeats of the Burnley incident, and I think, I think they know that as well. The closest we could get is people hanging about outside the stadium with the banners, because we can't get in otherwise. But allegedly, the protests have affected them, and that's like where this takeover news is coming in all of a sudden.
All right, we get onto that in just a second. Karim, he said, lads, watching this in school right now. I love your commitment, Karim, but don't get caught because the headmaster might take your phone away, mate. But love your commitment. Just want to get onto this one, Dom. Obviously, you're a great captain, Mark Noble, great servant at your club. Obviously, tweeted against the club when you West Ham broke the news that they sold one of your great talents, Grady Diane, is that how you say his name?
Dean Garner.
And obviously he spoke out and he went on Twitter. He said, as captain of this football club, I'm gutted, angry, and that Grady has left. Kid was great future. I mean, what is your thoughts on that? I mean, that's fantastic from your captain, surely.
I think it goes to show like how what the damage Gold and Sullivan have done. I think that everyone's had enough. Now, Mark Noble's he's come under complete scrutiny in regards, like people seem to think he's a bored mouthpiece, and in a way, over the years he's sent out letters to the club, telling us to get behind the ball and everything, and a lot of people are angry about him. Because during the Burnley game, he threw someone around to the pitch. He threw a guy to the floor, and a lot of people didn't like that. They were really angry. Now, I'm sort of on the fence with it. I mean, I think a lot of people need to realise footballers are human beings. I mean, that guy could have had anything on him. I don't think common knowledge. I don't think anyone. I don't think he would have intended to attack Mark Noble, being a West Ham fan, but you just don't know, do you? And so I guess Mark Noble was just a human, a reaction of human nature, but a lot of people didn't take too kindly to it. So in certain ways, he's not been very popular with some sections of the fan base since, particularly some people I know. No, I would never take Roy Keane, but anyway. But to come out and say that, I think he's earned a lot of respect because, you know, as club captain, he's got some form of responsibility. He's been at the club for 20 plus years. He's played for the club since 2004. He made his debut in 2004, and so he knows what it takes. He's come through the academy along with many other players. He's West Ham through and through. You know, he knows exactly what it takes. He's West Ham boy growing up. I think he's had enough of them, and rightly so. And you know, the way Garner was sold as well. I mean, you know, a few weeks earlier, he was on fire in pre-season. You know, Sebastian Haller said it was great to play with him. Declan Rice and Garner were chatting on Instagram saying, "Oh, so great to play with you." And you had them fucking idiots who run the club's media account tweeting out, "Oh, I can't wait to see him and Bowen in action next season." And 2 days later, he's off to West Brom. I think it was just the way it was put out and structure was just a complete circus. And rightly so, he's had enough. And, you know, you had Wiltshire going in on them. Masuaku weren't happy. Rice, Haller, they liked the tweet as well. And I think that was a sort of, excuse me, that sort of contributed to the potential takeover, hopefully.
We've got a question here from Jazza. It says, Terry asked Dom about his love affair with Mr. Andy Carroll himself. I mean, just looking at your face, I mean, obviously you think he was a fantastic player. He should have a statue outside the stadium.
Sorry, my phone just fell. Is that Jazz from West Ham, by the way?
Well, I think it might be.
You can answer that. Yeah, I know Jazz. Yeah, listen, I hate the guy. Not Jazz, not you, Jazz, not you. No, I hate Andy Carroll. In fact, I fucking despise Andy Carroll. And again, a complete waste of space, a complete and utter fucking mercenary. You know, injury prone. Yes, it is you, Jazz. But like, you know, complete lack of respect for the club in terms of. I think the final, you know, he frustrated me for years, Carroll, because he'd go off injured. He gets seen, you know, out on the piss in Ibiza and, you know, at festivals, you know, when he weren't working hard at all to get back to full fitness. And he just took the piss, basically. And then, but again, he in a way you could argue he sort of made up for it with, you know, great performances. I think, and I will be honest, I think, you know, out of all the football matches I've attended in my life, his goal against Crystal Palace was the greatest goal I've ever seen at a football match I've attended. We did the overhead kick. However, the final nail in the coffin for me was when it was Slaven Bilic's last game against Liverpool. We lost 4-1. Carroll played shit. And he had the cheek to come out and slate the fans for leaving early when we were 4-1 down. Well, where the fuck was he when he was out injured? I think I saw him once when he was either suspended or injured, attend a game in the box. Other than that, he was anonymous. He was nowhere. And, you know, to come out and say that is extremely hypocritical. It's insulting to the fans that contribute to your wages when you're not even playing for X amount of time. You play shit. You've not scored a Premier League goal for about 2 years, one cup goal since 2018 for West Ham up until he left when he could have got a hat-trick and he missed 2 cities in the same game. Basically, just a complete waste of space. And the day he left, I went down the pub and celebrated.
Well, I was the same with bloody Unai Emery when he went, mate. I was exactly the same. So I know the feeling that you're talking about. Let's move this conversation on a little bit, Dom. It's a bit doom and gloom for West Ham fans. I want to get a little bit more excitement, a little bit more, you know what I mean? Because you were talking about the takeover. But just before you talk about that, Dom, I mean, as an investor, I'm just trying to look at it from my point of view and thinking, well, what are the assets at West Ham? You know, you're not got a stadium. You know what I mean? You're a team that's in limbo. You need a proper overhaul from bottom to top. I mean, So it's going to take a lot of money, isn't it, really? Because obviously the first thing I would want to do as an investor is obviously get my own stadium for my team, surely.
I mean,
perfect for Ivan Gazidis, this, isn't it?
Well, so, as you say, you know, I as you touch on them, who's your Kroenke, ain't it? Kroenke's the American.
Yeah.
Is Gazidis American?
No, he's at Inter Milan now, isn't
he? So he's left.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it? No, AC Milan, isn't it? Claude, he's at. Yeah, AC Milan. Yeah.
Right.
AC Milan.
The thing is with this, right? The potential new owners are American, and after what I've seen with the Kroenkes at Arsenal, it sort of puts me off a bit.
Yeah.
But you know, anyone is fucking better than Golden Sullivan. I'd even have Mike Ashley over Golden Sullivan because at least Mike Ashley signed some fucking players this year for Newcastle. You know, I've not really, to be honest, I've seen bits and bobs of it. Who's it? Yeah, probably I was wasted that day. I don't know what I was doing. I like Watford. I'm glad we ain't going there this year because they're down, but they've got a nice little Wetherspoons around the corner and a good little beer garden. It's always a good day, Watford. But anyway, what was I saying? Owners. So, like, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of it. You know, people are like, you know, people seem to think it's going to happen. Who knows? Who knows? But it's definitely in the pipeline, if you like. You know, it's the American new owners. And like I say, anyone's better than Golden Sullivan. But yeah, I get what you're saying. If you don't own the stadium, we're not much of an asset. But yeah, what can you do? I just think the only thing is we're a club in London, and we've got a big fan base in America, I believe. And I think that I can't really answer that to a degree. The question about what the assets are, because you are right. We're certainly lacking as assets. We're not in good ways at the minute because of Golden Sullivan. We need owners to get us out of this shit and just, like, you know, get us to somewhere better. I'm not saying they should get us to the title or the Champions League immediately, but just start a project to get us there. Don't just sit back there and run it on fumes and do fuck all like Sullivan and Gold.
Yeah. All right, just before you move on, Dom, and tell us about this new takeover bid then. There's a great question here, and I want to bring it up because, and that is Adlad. Again, he's put, what are all those papers behind you, Dom? It's like some sort of murder mystery, and you're trying to put all the clues together. You know what I mean?
They're autographs. They're autographs. Years ago, when I was about 16, 17, when I went to, I started collecting autographs. I don't do it anymore. I've grown out of it. It's just like a little, you know, I did it when I was like younger. But you know, I'd go around with a book. I'd go around with a paper to put on the wall to display. This was at the bowling. So whenever we play like different teams, I get players to sign them. I've got loads. I've got Mourinho's up there. I've got Vardy, Mahrez, Dzeko, a certain Harry Kane when he was at Norwich on loan. I've got Van Gaal, Louis Van Gaal, Victor Valdez. Wow. I've got some big names on that wall. So it's a sort of some are starting to fall off a bit now. So I really should take them down and put them in a little box. But they're still fucking, well, there must be about 200 up there or something. They're all around on the wall. But yeah, they're some of them. I've got some good ones up there. I enjoy collecting them. So they're mainly there for display. But yeah, some have fallen off, and I've just had to put a few on my shelf now and then. But yeah, definitely stuff I used to like to do. Yeah.
Mate, I know a 40-year-old that still does all that.
Yeah, I know some people still do it.
Whatever you do, Dom, don't mention Mourinho's one again, because Claudio will have your back. I'm telling you, he'll be round there trying to nick that off you, Mourinho's one. I'm telling you that now. But have you got
it off the wall? It's been stuck on the wall for 7 years, so I'd have a job getting it off.
Jazza says you don't have the Claudio's autograph, though, do you?
Well, we don't have my autograph.
Here's another one. Have you got Mia's autograph?
No, I got a number instead.
What, tattooed on?
No, I saved in my phone.
Yeah, talking about Mia, she's changed her team already. Anyway, she's not a real proper football fan, is she? I'm sure I saw her supporting another team the other week. I'm sure it was her. You know,
It's Arsenal.
She's not a proper West Ham fan.
Was it Arsenal? Because I saw her. Weren't she pictured with Robbie? I swear Robbie was pictured with her once.
No, yeah, during a West Ham game. Yeah, she was doing the preview.
Yeah.
But since then, I'm sure she was wearing another team's scarf. So I wouldn't take much. I don't think she's a proper West Ham fan.
Nah, of course she ain't. I don't think she wouldn't realise what football is.
Before you talk about the takeover bid, Dom, Adlad, we've had this question about 5 times, so I think we need to answer it. He says, what do you guys think of Bale to Spurs? Start with you, Dom.
Fucking horrible. I don't think any of us are going to be happy with that, are we? But I remember when that breakout season he had at Spurs, which led to the transfer to Madrid. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever hated a player more than Gareth Bale during that period, because he was fucking good. Don't get me wrong, he was good, but it was just so horrible to see Spurs have that world-class player. And he didn't half dive a lot, did he?
Yeah,
he dived so much. It really pissed me off.
Yeah,
but you know, since he's gone, I think he got so much better when he went to Madrid. You know, won Champions Leagues, won La Liga titles. They just shut him out. I think they treated him like shit. I think the fans are treating him like shit. I think he's going to go down as one of their most underrated ever players.
Yeah,
he's not stepped up. He's not managed to fill the boots of Ronaldo and the like, but he's been a fucking good player for them.
Yeah,
fucking good player for them. And the way they've treated him, I think he's got every right to, want out and do his little Wales goal for Madrid.
Yeah,
it's a shame for him, and I think Tottenham are going to have an excellent deal getting him back there. And they're going to have a very, very good front three with him, Kane and Son. Unfortunately, but you know, it's a very, very good signing for Spurs. I think now, before I was just saying to you, you'd finish above Spurs, I think, or have a better season than them at least. But I think that Bale sign could now be a game changer. I think it could very much be a game changer. I think their signings so far, I think Doherty and Aubameyang are good signings for them. I think they were lacking in them sort of positions. I think they're solid level signings. But I think that Bale is a game changer now. We'll see.
Okay, Claude?
Well, it's one last throw of the dice from Mourinho, isn't it? I mean, and I think it's a gamble because he hasn't played a lot in the last few years. Remember that, has he? He's not played a lot. It is a gamble, but I mean, I think it's more a loan sign, isn't it? It's not.
It is. Yeah. But the thing is, Claude,
and they only have to pay half his wages, so it's a good deal for Spurs. But 30%. But the only problem I have, the only thing I think might go against him is he hasn't played many games, and something tells me. Why did Zidane not want him in the team? Why did he not fancy him? Something maybe he's seeing that we're not seeing yet. I don't know. Does he have a lot of injuries? Because as well.
Yeah, I think he's had a history of injuries, hasn't he?
Yeah. So, and I don't know whether he's going to adapt quickly to the Premier League back because he's been there. I think it's a gamble. But it's one worth taking because he is on his day. He's a top class player. I'm surprised Man United not have gone in for him. To be honest with you, I think he would have been good for Man United.
I think when you get a player like him, I think if you don't play for a while, I think you just get back into it straight away because he's naturally good. I think he'll adapt fine back to the Premier League. He played in the Premier League for years.
Yeah.
How long was he at Spurs? About 6 years. 6 years he was at Spurs, and he started off poor there, but he became a world-class player within like 2 years. I think he'll be fine. I think that's a fantastic signing for them. Like I said, I think it's a game changer.
Do you know what?
Arsenal have a problem now as well, because everyone, if we've got now one overseas player too many, and now we've decided to get this this guy from Iceland. I don't know why. I mean, I thought you only get frozen food from Iceland. But anyway, he's not even their number one goalkeeper, so I don't know what we've got getting him in for. We might as well keep.
What's his name?
It's Goodinson or something, isn't it? Or I can't think of his name. It's the goalkeeper.
Is it Hal Dawson? Is it him?
No, he's the number two goalkeeper for. I can't even pronounce his name. He's the number two goalkeeper for Iceland. I don't know much about it. Apparently, all these stats really don't look good.
It's going to have a son on. It's going to have a son on the end of it, though, isn't it?
No, exactly.
What I don't like about it is another foreign player coming in, which restricts us, because now it means to get these two players we want to get over the line, we need 4 out the door.
Well, it just shows you what we must be working on, then, Claude, to do that.
Well, if we need to, and it's not easy getting these players out the door because no one wants them really at the moment. And the one thing that a big decision he's got to make, and I think he will make it hopefully, because he doesn't play him anymore, is that Ozil's got to be taken off this 25-man squad, taken off completely. So that will, at least that will leave one option. And then we could get rid of Torreira, Socrates and Kolasinac. I think Kolasinac has been linked to West Ham, by the way, if I'm not being...
Yeah, I think that's just clickbait.
We need a new left back though, so it could be true. Because our left backs are shit.
Well, good luck with him, mate. Good luck with him. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm surprised you sold Martinez. To be honest,
yeah,
I'm surprised you got rid of him.
I still can't get over that. You know, I mean, see, I don't like that, man, because if a goalkeeper, right, has waited all that time to come in, he performs perfectly for those games, yet someone can just walk straight back in, can walk straight back in as number one, just like that. That means that what's the point of being a number two if you can't even when you're playing well and you get your chance, you're still not you can't. I remember a few years back, and I think we had David Seaman and Alex Meninga, and Meninga was out of this world for 12 or 13 games, absolutely brilliant. And then Seaman came straight back in the team, just straight back. It was the year 98 when we won the league. Seaman came straight back in, and then Meninga's confidence went completely. His confidence went. So
it's always harder as a goalkeeper, though.
Because
it's that one position. There's never a situation where you can play two goalkeepers the same match, obviously. But so it's so hard to if you're usually the situation is if you're rotating between two goalkeepers consistently, it means you need another goalkeeper. But I think you had the luxury to have two very good goalkeepers. But the thing is, two very good goalkeepers, one of them isn't going to be happy with sitting on the bench all the time. And I thought, you're right. I watched the cup final against Chelsea. I watched the Shield. I thought Martinez won you those games to an extent. I thought he was absolutely fabulous. And I think it's harsh, but if the guy wants to go and play football, he wants to play football. I think your loss is Villa's game. I think Villa are assembling a nice little team.
You're right there. You're exactly right. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm absolutely gutted that Martinez is gone. I mean, I think he should have started. But if you look at it on the other hand, he's been at Arsenal for 10 years. I mean, he's never, ever got a chance, let's be honest, from any manager that's been there since. He was lucky enough, really. Well, not lucky enough. It was unfortunate that Leno got injured and he come in and he done absolutely fantastic for us. I think personally, he turned around and said, "Look, I've been with you for 10 years. I absolutely love it at Arsenal, but I want to be guaranteed first-team football. And if I go to someone like Villa, I will be guaranteed number one for many years ahead." That's not anything. That's not taking anything away from.
But Arteta should have bullshitted a bit and said, "All right, you're that position is yours for the moment," and then we wouldn't have had no argument.
Don't forget, Claude. Don't forget, because obviously, if Leno didn't get injured, right? If Leno didn't get injured, Martinez wouldn't have been in goal. Leno would still be in goal, and Martinez would have gone this season probably for 2 or 3 million. We've got 20 million.
You made profit on it, really, haven't you, from Leno's injury?
Exactly. Well, I'm not saying I wanted that.
All I can say is if Leno has bad form, then it's going to all kick off because we've got no number 2 now. We're going to have some guy come in who's got really shit stats. I don't know why we're getting this guy for £1 million. Why don't we keep our Matt Macy, an English homegrown player, and it makes it easier for us to get other players. I don't get what we're doing. I do not get what we're doing. I don't understand what we're doing there.
So, funny enough, that I was watching
when West Ham dropped. When West Ham, that Dave Martin, he came in, he done brilliantly, didn't he? And then they dropped him.
No, he was injured.
Oh, was he injured?
Yeah. So even our fucking third choice goalkeeper got injured. Didn't stop Roberto getting in the team. You could always have it. Listen, you moan about your right standing team. You could always have Roberto as backup if you like. Consider yourselves lucky. I mean, and let's be honest, we fucked him off. We're still paying half his wages. It was that bad. You know the old cliche. I'll pay to get rid of this guy, or I'll drive him to the airport and fucking pay for his flight if he was going. We've actually gone and done that. We could want to make that reality with Roberto. He's that bad. We forced him out on a free, and we're still paying off his wages. That's how desperate we are to get him out. It just shows what a terrible footballer he is. But funnily enough, Claude, I watched when I was watching the Arsenal Fulham game last week. The commentator did say, for every mistake Leno now makes will be under improved scrutiny because of the fact Martinez is gone.
Yeah, exactly. You're
and
right there.
I make him right. I make the commentator right. And I think, I think. How old is he as well, Martinez? Young.
29. I think, was he 29? Oh, I might be wrong. I think he might be younger now. Between 26 and 29.
I think long term, I think we've got rid of the better keeper. Long term.
I agree.
Maybe.
It certainly seems that way.
I think we could come back to haunt us, but we'll see. I mean, I think this is another thing. I think someone has to fight back for his place. I don't think someone should automatically come straight in like Leno has. Come straight in as just like that. Don't care. It's not right.
We had a similar thing under Big Sam with Kevin Nolan. Now, Kevin Nolan, towards the end of his career at West Ham, was diabolical. And it took Kevin Nolan getting injured for him to be dropped. And when we took Nolan out of the team and we played the likes of Downing, Valencia and Sacco in attack, we looked fucking brilliant. And as soon as Nolan was fit and Carroll was fit, Sam threw them back in and we just plummeted down the table. So, now I think Arteta is a good manager. I think Arteta is going to do well for you. But as you got to make big decisions as a manager. And I think it's still a big decision to let him go. But I think it would have been a bigger decision to carry on playing him over Leno. Yeah.
Right, just quickly before we get on to it, because I want to ask you about this takeover, and then I just want to quickly make my point about Gareth Bale. And you're going to be shocked here, Claude. And I think he will be one of the best players in the Premiership this season.
No, so you'll be hailing Mourinho then? You're hailing him?
No. But you didn't hear me out completely. He'd be the best golf player in the Premiership. He'd be the best golf player because I think he's on a 2 handicap now since he ain't been playing at Real Madrid. So he will be the best golf player in the Premiership. Look, for me, I think he could turn out to be a Jack Wilshere of West Ham at the moment. I think you picked up on it. He hasn't played a lot of games for Real Madrid. He's injury prone now. So he could easily come in for his first 2 or 3 games, get injured and be out for the rest of the season. I hope he ain't. I still think he can do something in the Premiership, but
you You hope he does. Don't bullshit. You hope he does get injured.
No. Look, we don't know how good, or like you said, how good he's going to be when he comes back. Is he going to get straight into it? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But you know, what I mean, let's give Tottenham something to, jizzle over at the minute, innit? Do you know what I mean? A 31-year-old coming back to their club. So
would you have taken him at Arsenal?
Gareth Bale? No, not at the moment.
I would have taken him at West Ham 100%. Do you know what's ironic though? I used to go to school with this Tottenham fan, and he was a bit like me. Diehard Tottenham, knew his shit about football, And I remember, do you know what's ironic? I think it was the summer that Bale went to Madrid. I remember he turned around and told me, you know how Tottenham fans bang on that there's some fucking big club and all that, and I think they're the fucking bollocks and best thing since sliced bread. This guy, he said, I suggested, right, would you sell Bale, and would you spend the money in bringing back Berbatov and Modric? And he said, no, small club mentality. Now look at him. Yeah.
I love that, Dom. I love that.
Never forget that. And this was 7 years ago, and I remember it well. Now look at him like,
they had
big
a team
club,
there. And do you know, with all the Bale money, they did waste it, didn't they, on a few? Yeah,
so they did.
Yeah,
I don't think any of them players are there anymore. Are they?
Yeah, they are.
The last one.
The most expensive player that they bought, Llama.
Yeah, that's it. He's the only one there.
Yeah, the Llama that runs, who walks about the field.
They were telling. I was being told he was going to be better than Bale.
I mean, I believe this signing, this signing could be the signing that makes them the top 4 contenders.
Yeah, I agree. It could well be now. Before, if they didn't sign him, no chance. But now, they got some good. They got a good attacking trio now. Very good attacking trio.
It could go either way. He could either be that, or he could be the Andy Carroll.
He's got so much.
No, I mean injury-wise.
Yeah, but even so, when he's fit, Andy Carroll was, at times shit when he was fit. Bale can do much more than Andy Carroll. He's quicker, ability-wise, he's so much better. Goal scoring-wise, he's so much better. Different player. There's no comparison there. Sorry.
Listen, the only reason why I say I wouldn't take him is because, let's be honest, if he come to Arsenal now as a 31-year-old, right, and he played 2 or 3 games and then was out for the rest of the season, our fan base would be absolutely going absolute fucking ape shit, because why are we getting a loan player of 31 years old, you know what I mean, and then taking away from young Saka, who just bought a deal. You got Willian there at the moment. You got Pepe. Do you know what I mean? So it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? I don't want another injury-prone player at Arsenal. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. Dom, let's move on. What's happening with this takeover then? Is it happening? Who is it? Do you know who it is?
Allegedly. So, like I said earlier, I mean, I've sort of been off Twitter in the last couple of days because I've been more distracted by the release of the PlayStation 5, to be honest. No, I've obviously seen it because there's no escaping it. The amount of people that keep telling me about it, and it's been reported that they've rejected a 400 million bid in the Sun. I don't believe anything from the Sun, so it doesn't bother me. You got a lot of ITKs on Twitter saying that the protests have affected them, and now they're willing to sell. So who knows? It's the alleged new owners are Americans. I don't know much about them. I've never heard of them. But like I said, anyone but Golden Sullivan, and I'd rather Mike Ashley than Golden Sullivan, and that's saying something. But all I can say is I just really, really, really hope it happens, because it'll be a massive moment for the club. It'll be an exciting moment for the club. I think at last now the fan base will finally be united again, because what Golden Sullivan have been fantastic at doing is dividing the fan base. I mean, there's been so many spats with people on Twitter about who, bored in, bored out. And it's a shame to say, but I think it's just so fractured and so broken. And whilst they're still at the club, it's just going to be so toxic and so negative, and they just need to go. You know, they need to go now, and their time's done. Like I said earlier, it's their end game, and so I just pray to God that it happens. You know, I'll even go and buy myself a little American flag and drape it around my window. My neighbours will be like, "What the fuck's he doing?"
I remember the days of Terry Brown. Remember Terry Brown? Was it Terry Brown?
Yeah. I think he was before the Icelandics.
Yeah. Oh, what a joke they were, though. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Sorry, my earphones are dying. I'm just going to take them out.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear you? No.
Yeah, so that's they come in and say,
yeah, go on, Dom.
Huh?
Yeah, go on, mate. Yeah, go on.
They come in and say they've saved us and all this, and yeah, I mean they got us out of trouble from the mess the Icelandics left us, but you know, this was 10 years ago. You know, since then they've completely. It's like Nicky said the other day. You save a dog from drowning, and then just neglect it when you take it home and not feed it or water it or walk it. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, but I saved that dog from drowning, but it's still fucking dying in the house because I'm not neglecting it." You know, It's not good, is it? So they can't carry on going by that, and a lot of people seem to go on by that as well. I mean, I believe under. I mean, this was fucking. I mean, I don't really remember our owners before the Icelandics, but Terry Brown. I believe we at least got to an FA Cup final under Terry Brown. But the difference with Terry Brown is we knew he was shit. He weren't some guy who was, you know, spin lies after lie after lie, and say he was going to like promise the world and everything, and they didn't take us out of our home, Upton Park. And that's one thing that Gold and Sullivan have done. They'll never be forgiven for it.
Connor said we couldn't score against Astra fucking Go-Go.
I know, we couldn't. 1-0.
Realist AC, thank you very much. He said, Joel, Terry, Dom and Claude, hope you guys are well. I'm better mindset recently. We need to talk more soon, Terry. Much love, boy. Definitely will, mate. Definitely will. Get in contact with me and we will. Right, let's move on now because we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes, and I know you've got to get to work soon, Dom. We've got 220 watching. Smash them likes up, please. Really appreciate it. Just hit the like button. Right, let's move on then. I just want to quickly talk about, before we get prediction on the game on Saturday, Dom, is your next up-and-coming 7 games. I mean,
do we have to? Do we have to?
I just want to get your opinion on it. Obviously, you got Arsenal away, and then you got Hull City in the cup, and you got Wolverhampton.
Oh, yeah, they beat Leeds, didn't they, last night? Oh,
sorry.
Hell.
Yeah, they beat Leeds. Yeah, on penalties, wasn't it? 9-8, I think it was.
Well, that's all right. Yeah. Then we'll find out. We found our level in the League Cup, haven't we?
So yeah, you got Arsenal away, Hull City at home in the cup. Then you got Wolves at home in the league. Leicester away, Tottenham away, Man City at home, Liverpool away.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Tel. Appreciate that, mate.
That is tough. That is a tough run, isn't it?
If I could describe it in 3 words, we are fucked. No, we are. This is the trouble. We're, like, you know, the past 6 seasons, the first game was always been a top 6. It was Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, and then City from 2014 to 2019. We get, you know, Newcastle. You know, they beat us anyway, but you know it's better than any of the last 6. And we get Newcastle, and then after that it's just a shit show. Yeah, I won't be surprised if we're bottom with 0 points after them games. Because aside from how bad we are, all those teams are very, very good. All those teams are. You know, I think, you know, we'll talk about the prediction in a minute, but I think, I think you'll beat us. I think Wolves are on their day are one of the best teams in the league. I think they still are anyway. I think they're one of the best teams of the league. They've just been unlucky with injuries at times and fixture congestion. But, you know, you saw them on Monday night against Sheffield United, straight out the blocks, got the job done straight away. Picking up from where they left off, you know, everyone seems to expect they're going to collapse and, like, you know, eventually second season syndrome, third season syndrome. And they're just relentless, Wolves. Fantastic side, I think. Yeah, that's a horrible game. Leicester, great season last year. Tottenham now with the acquisition of Bale coming in, you know, dangerous. And then obviously Liverpool, Man City. You know, we don't need to say no more there, do we?
No, exactly. All right, let's get your prediction then, Dom. Saturday's game prediction. Everyone in the chat, let us know what you think the score's going to be and all.
I'm going to go Arsenal 4, West Ham 0. I think Arsenal. I think there's good spirits at Arsenal right now. You just got, because you won the cup, you won the Shield, and obviously I think the way last season went ending so late because of the pandemic, it's literally you carried it right into this season. The feel good factor straight away. I think the feel-good factor is very much still there for Arsenal, and there's sort of, because I was speaking to a friend of mine who's an Arsenal fan yesterday, and he said he's optimistic for the first time in ages. I think
exactly.
I think Arteta is a very good manager. I think, you know, obviously it's helped by being Pep's number 2 for a number of years, but I think he's got a good thing going there at Arsenal. I think it's exciting times for Arsenal. Aubameyang signed a new deal, reason to be cheerful. Lacazette as well, great firepower up front. I think you look better at the back with Gabriel there. I thought he was fantastic against Fulham. So yeah, I think it's going to be. I think you'll score a lot of goals against us, unfortunately, and I just don't think. Again, we've signed no players. It all depends how we approach it, but another thing as well. We could play well and still lose against that. And that's the story against Arsenal. I think last season, because that's the last West Ham, was the last Premier League match anyone attended. Arsenal West Ham was before the lockdown, but we lost 1-0. We should never have lost that game. If anything, we should have won that game. I thought we were much the better team, and we just got robbed, as we always tend to do at the Emirates. So, you know, even if we play well on Saturday, we could still end up losing, as always is the case. But no, it's just something Arsenal we just have too much for us, unfortunately.
Do you remember, Don, I came up to you after that game last season. I said you deserved more than what you got, didn't I? I did tell you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Do you remember after the game we met up?
Stream the Sunday night, didn't we?
Yeah. No. Also, do you remember after the game you came over to our section here, you know, when I was on aftv.
Yeah.
But do you remember he came over to us and I said to you that I thought you were really unlucky in the defeat, yeah.
Yeah.
And because that's what I'm thinking. I think we'll win on Saturday, but I think it won't be. I think it'll be maybe 1 or 2-0 because I've got to feel West Ham. They seem to put it. They seem to get together. They seem to do it for us. They rise to the game. So.
Well, I think the year before as well, Claude. It was 3-1. It was the third game of the season. It was under Emery, and we went 1-0 up. And then but again, never a 3-1 game. I thought we didn't deserve to lose that one either. And again, the year before, 4-1, didn't deserve to lose that. So it's a pattern going on, and you know, like I say, we could play as well as we can, but it's just always seems to get robbed at the Emirates, sadly.
Yeah, but it's another one. There's no. It could go. I mean, there's no crowd there as well. I don't know. I think it'll be 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 because I just got a feeling West Ham West Ham will raise their game for this game. I don't think it's going to be as 4-5s like people are saying, and we'll see. I think it'll be about 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal, but I just feel that you always look at these games that you're saying, oh, you're not going to get any points off. But there's always a surprise or two in there. You might get a few points. You might get some points out of those games.
I'll take a draw
because to be honest with you, Dom, if anything, to play these top teams, it's not bad to play them at the start of the season, rather than right when they're on in the.
I know, because you got to play them at some point in the season.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say,
I think the best part of playing for anyone is mid-season, because
No. I think at the start. Look at Leeds. Look at Leeds again on Saturday. They nearly got a result there, didn't they? Because they've caught Liverpool. They're not into gear yet. All the top teams that could take a while to get in.
Yeah, I know, Claude. But the difference is their manager. I think Bielsa ball. He just loves it. They're going to do that with everyone this season. They're just going to fucking go at everyone and just attack, relentless. That's the philosophy Bielsa's built. Unfortunately for us, we've got David Moyes. And much as I feel sorry for Moyes at the moment, and I can't. He's got nothing. He's got no tools because we haven't signed any players. But at the same time, he's not proactive. And last season, the fixture at the Emirates, I thought we were quite a better team. But in periods of the game, we sat back when we didn't need to sit back because we were all over us. But we sat back, and again, weren't proactive enough with the subs. And the VAR fucked us, but that's the difference in terms of these underdog sides going for it.
It's like you've got Arthur Daly and Del Boy in charge there, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? It's just
Tweedledummer.
Yeah.
I've got a lot. I'm a bit different to Claude. I'm very confident, and I've got to bring this comment up because I never thought we'd get Alex Lacazette in the comments, but we've got Lacazette in the comments here, Dom, and he's put Arsenal 7, West Ham 0. I'm not that confident. Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate that, mate. But I'm going to go with the same scoreline as you, Dom. I'm going to go 4-0 Arsenal. I think Arsenal are flying at the moment. I'm very optimistic. I'm a big Arteta fan. I think he's got our players clicking at the moment. The formation he's picking is brilliant. The camaraderie in the dressing room at the moment, he's got the right mix. Listen, look, as I said, half my family are West Ham, and I've got a lot of West Ham connections and that. I feel sorry for you at the moment. Do you know what I mean, with what's happening? But I can't see anything but a 4, maybe 5-0 win, to be honest, mate.
No, I agree. I just think there's a lot of negativity around West Ham as well. So,
what was that, Dom?
I think there's a lot of negativity around West Ham at the moment as well. And given to what we spoke about earlier with the Mark Noble comments, it's I just don't think. I mean, after watching the Newcastle game as well, we don't look together. We don't look unified. But as Claude says, we raised the game against the bigger sides. I was just talking about the game last season. A couple of weeks earlier, we went to Anfield on Monday, and we again should have come away with the least to draw. They didn't deserve to lose, but we need to be more clinical, if anything.
I mean, even last season when we played you at your ground, I thought up until that 8-minute spell where we just blew you away in that 8-minute spell, I thought you were the better side. We were really struggling. I mean,
we were playing like the game was already won. That's what fucked me off. Like we were passing it around like it was like we were 5-0 up with like 5 minutes to go, and we needed that second goal. And we had this was under Pellegrini. This was the last few matches of Pellegrini's reign, and I think we had a striker. I don't know, Antonio. Antonio started that match because we just beat Chelsea. Aouar was on the bench, and Pellegrini had the chance to put Aouar on, put 2 up top and kill the game. Because after your defence, you've got David Luiz and Socrates, or David Luiz, Mustafi, or Mustafi, Socrates fighting. They're useless, and they would have had a nightmare with 2 up top, and he didn't do it. And then Martinelli equalises against the run of play, and the amount of times last season we fell apart after conceding. But again, we all right. I thought we were the better team, and then it's fucking collapsed.
Yeah,
that's a nice check.
We've got a super chat here from Francis. He's put, "I'm very happy you have a channel, Claude. Just stumbled on it. good luck to you and lots of love from Australia.
Thank you very much. Thank you, France.
I was going to go to Australia this summer. Bloody COVID.
Who's this, Steffi? Keep smashing those lights. Thank you, Steffi, by the way. Thank you very much. I think we better come because my...
yeah. I was about to say that. Listen,
we'll say, how can people get hold? How can people get hold of you, your Dom, on social media? Can you let them know?
Yeah, just drop me on Twitter. I'm on a locked account, so I have to accept your follow request. But CO WHU _1995. Got an Instagram as well. I am Dom 95. So yeah, drop us a follow on them.
Will you be covering the game on Saturday on West? Are you on the West Ham TV on Saturday covering the game?
No, I'm gonna go to the pub and watch it. I think. But if anyone wants to do a watch along, I mean, I'll join a watch along happily. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward. Well, I'm looking forward.
Well, if you're available, Tom, if you want to come on out, you're more than welcome.
Yeah. I was going to say to you, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be.
Claude, your mic off a minute. We can hear the police.
Claude, you getting arrested?
Go on, Dom.
I was going to say, like, it's. I think it'll be much more interesting when you get two sets of fans doing a watch along.
Yeah.
Different perspective, but yeah, I don't have Sky, so the only way I can watch it is at the pub. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, if it's possible, I'm all for it.
All right, mate. Well, keep us informed anyway. I just want to say thank you very much for coming on, giving us a great insight into West Ham at the moment. Listen, I really do hope things turn around for you, mate. And the new owners come in. You know, you get a new. Listen, I mean, I'm sure you want a new stadium that you can call your own. I hope you get some new players, and I really, really do hope you stay up this season, because I think without that, you're going to struggle this season. So, you know, coming from me, Dom, I really, you know, wish you good luck for the new season, mate.
You wish us good luck on Saturday.
No.
No. Thanks for coming on, Dom. Really, thank you. No. Always good to have you on. Say hello to Dan and Nicky for me, wouldn't you, when you see them? Hope they're okay. And I think Dan is on the same old Arsenal tomorrow. So, yeah. And so, yeah, say hello to them for me. And as I say, I want us to win on Saturday, but I wish you well. I hope the Premier League is not the same without West Ham in it. It needs West Ham in the Premier League. So let's hope you stay above.
If we can't be run properly in the way we're being run, unfortunately, we don't deserve to be in the Premier League.
No, but hopefully something will get
sorted. I say that about every club, you know. You have to be well run to compete at the top level, unfortunately. But yeah. So I get what you're saying. We're a traditional club.
Hopefully something will get sorted, yeah?
Yeah, I really hope so. I better get them American flags out.
Just want to thank everyone for coming over earlier and watching this. Really appreciate it. Thank you again, Dom. Hopefully get you on again next week for the match reaction. You won't be too happy. Yeah, well, if I can be bear to relive it, then yeah. If we beat you, I'll be straight on the blow. I bet you will.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see. Don't forget, tonight we'll be doing our match predictions with our look into the fantasy football table that we're doing and seeing who's top of the league. And so join us for that. Put the notification bell on YouTube. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share all of our content. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
I do feel it's ridiculous when they put in league tables up after one game. It's ridiculous. Never used to happen in the old days. You had to wait 10 games before a league table went up. Bloody one game, and not everyone has even completed their first game yet.
You never know, Claude. We could go into another lockdown. They could end the season how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah, that's the only way you'll win it.
That's a fault, yeah. Come on, boys, shut us down. Come on, boys.
No.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Really appreciate it. And don't forget, come and watch us tonight. Thanks a lot. See you later.